what is your greatest challenge in marriage, and how do you get through that?
I think the daily grind of every day, getting up and doing the same thing every day. Even though we answered the other day or earlier about falling asleep during the day, how do you stay awake? But it's just the daily, as a householder, not necessarily with marriage, but just as a householder, getting up every day, cleaning up the house, doing dishes, getting breakfast, doing our sadhana, getting everybody out of the house. That to me is the toughest thing about, not just about marriage again, but just about being a householder.
But I think some of that really comes in when you have kids. When you're on your own and it's just the two of you, it's not such a big deal. That's why when I talked about the martial arts and the black belts, that's why you're a black belt if you can do all that, because it's that much more challenging and it takes that much more patience, skill, to be able to win the face of when your kids are just not listening, and just basic things like you ask your child every day, go take a bath, brush your teeth, and they're like dragging their feet every step of the way.
I'm struggling with that question, because I could say in a younger time in my life, I think our greatest challenge when I was younger is that we would push each other's buttons, and we would do things to kind of upset each other or something. I don't know if that comes out of competitiveness or what. And after a while, we just stopped. We didn't want to block each other. We didn't want to block. I didn't want to block who he wants to be in his life, in his relationships with his God, and his relationship with his service on this planet. But I think when I was younger, that I did out of insecurity, out of jealousy, out of whatever. And I think that was a big challenge, to realize that I didn't want to be a block in his life. I wanted to be an excellent thing in his life and a joyful thing in his life. And I think we don't do that to each other anymore. But at this point in our lives, I would have to say that in terms of my life, my marriage is not what I would put in the challenging category. It's not that we don't have moments, but our marriage is really in a very sweet phase where it feels like we've paid our dues and we've worked through that kind of stuff, and now we actually get to just enjoy the sweetness of that. And we're on the side of just we've kept up, and we're appreciating the sweetness of having kept up and gone through our youth and our mistakes, and we sort of just have the sweetness of each other's company right now.
And I just wanted to say also, we've been married for 10 years now. I better get that right. 10 years, and you spend that much time with somebody, you really get to know them. And we sometimes joke, sometimes when we play, because a lot of times when we have dinner at people's house or at our house, we like to play board games and different games. And there's some games when we're together as a couple, or we say no couples, because it's like you can read each other's minds. You're so tuned in, you just know what they're thinking and what's going on. It's just so subtle. And that subtlety that you get in a spiritual relationship, where you're paying attention to each other and you're listening to each other, and you start picking up on the subtle cues, the different things, the personality, what are their weaknesses, what are their strengths, all those things you really get deep, where you don't get if you just marry somebody or you're in a relationship in a short-term thing. You don't get that depth, that like what you've talked about of you're in your sweet spot. You've gone through so much stuff already. You've broken through all these barriers and all these challenges and all these karmas, all these things. If you were to start over, you would just be starting over. It's just, you wouldn't want to do that. It wouldn't be a wise decision. So those are things that being in a relationship, being in a marriage, and sticking with it really give you.
Yeah, I'm after this number of years of marriage, I'm experiencing deep joy. Not a lot of challenges in this space. But then again, we've raised 2 kids, one of whom's 29 and one of whom is 18. So, Gurmastik and Arjun have much younger kids, and it creates a lot more stress in the marriage. But, at this point in my life, this is not I'm not experiencing challenges in marriage at all, but I'm experiencing deep joy in marriage.
Now
So
he's used
keep
to
up.
that. He's used to that. I'm messy.
I kind of find her messiness sweet. I mean, there's a sweetness to it. And in the old days, when we were first married, I would clean things up in an angry way, you know, or I'd say something nasty, or I'd slam a cupboard door. I'd act out my feelings about the messiness. But now it's like I just feel I love her so much that it doesn't matter anymore. It's sweet. Everything about it is sweet. So I don't know how to say how you can attain that state except keep up and keep going.
Well, I think it comes from years of working it out too, and your own personal self-growth too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I watch
what
myself.
you choose to be annoyed by.
Right, like I see my self-growth, and I just keep saying, Gurmusic's like a mad scientist. He's so brilliant, and he's so good at what he does, and he's just so quick at this. It's me growing up too, and being able to be okay with a little bit of mess or a little bit of this, and being kind about it too. So it's us too, and it's just a maturity, I think, too. And like, it is what's really important in life. And is it more important to have peace in your relationship in your home, or is it more important to fight or have a clean house constantly?